All right, if you've got an econ exam coming up, you've come to the exact right place. We're about to tackle the big one, the fundamental economic problem, and break down all the core concepts you absolutely have to know. Think of this as your 5-minute cheat sheet to help you ace that test. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to hit the production possibilities frontier. From there, we'll get right into opportunity cost and efficiency. Then we'll figure out that perfect balance between costs and benefits, take a look at how economies actually grow, and finally, wrap things up by unlocking the magic of trade. Ready? Let's dive in. First up, the Production Possibilities Frontier, or PPF. You really got to get this one because it's the foundation for everything else. It's the main tool we use to see the core problem of economics, scarcity, and understand the tough choices every single economy has to make. At the very heart of economics is a simple, unavoidable truth. We just can't have everything we want. Our resources, whether it's time, money, or raw materials, are limited. And because of this scarcity, we are constantly forced to make choices. In economics, we call these choices trade-offs. So, how do we actually visualize these trade-offs? Well, economists came up with a brilliant tool called the Production Possibilities Frontier. Now, for your exam, burn this definition into your brain. The PPF is the line that separates what we can produce from what we can't, given our current technology and resources. Let's take a look at a classic PPF graph. Imagine an economy that only makes two things, pizzas and cola. See that point Z inside the curve? We can totally produce there, but it's inefficient. We're wasting resources. Anything outside the curve, forget about it. That's just unattainable right now. The real action? The sweet spot for efficiency is anywhere right on that curve, from point A all the way to F. Okay, so we know what the PPF is, but what is it really for? Well, this is where it gets super useful. This simple curve lets us measure two of the most important ideas in all of economics, opportunity cost and efficiency. And here's another key definition for your notes, opportunity cost. This is the real cost of making a choice. And listen, it's not just about money. It's about what you could have done instead. It's the next best thing you're sacrificing every time you make a decision. All right, let's put this into practice. Take a look at the graph. Let's say we're hanging out at point E, making 4 million pizzas and 5 million cans of cola. Life is good. But what if we decide we absolutely need to ramp up production to 5 million pizzas and move to point F? Well, you can see right on the curve, something's got to give. Our cola production has to take a nosedive. And there it is. That's the trade-off, plain and simple. The opportunity cost of getting that extra 1 million pizzas is a whopping 5 million cans of cola that we can't make anymore. The PPF shows you that sacrifice perfectly. So this brings up a really important idea, production efficiency. If you are operating anywhere on that PPF line, you're being efficient. You're squeezing every last drop of value out of your resources. But that leaves us with a new puzzle, right? All those points on the line are efficient, but which one is the absolute best one for society? And that's exactly what we're diving into next. See, it's not enough to just be efficient. We need to find the absolute best mix of things for society. And to do that, you have to weigh the costs against the benefits. First, let's look at the cost side with a concept called marginal cost. Now, this isn't the total cost. It's the opportunity cost of making just one more unit. In our case, how much cola do we have to give up to get just one more pizza? Now, you ever wonder why that PPF curve is bowed outwards like that? It's not a random shape. It's telling us something crucial. It's because resources aren't all the same. To make more pizza, you eventually have to use resources that were really good at making cola. That means each extra pizza gets more and more expensive to make in terms of the cola you give up. And that's what gives us this upward-sloping marginal cost curve you see on the right. Okay, so what about the other side of the coin, marginal benefit? This is the extra bit of joy or value you get from one more unit of something. Think about it. That first slice of pizza when you're starving, it's heaven, right? But the 10th slice? Not so much. That's the principle of decreasing marginal benefit. The more you have of something, the less you want one more. So, this is the moment we've been building towards. How do we find that perfect point for society? We put our two new curves together. The spot where they cross, where marginal benefit equals marginal cost, that's it. That's our holy grail, allocative efficiency. It's the one point on the PPF where we are producing the exact mix of goods and services that society values most. So far, we've been talking about being stuck on one single PPF. But what if we could push past that boundary? Well, that's what economic growth is all about. Economic growth is how we get more of everything. It's the whole process of shifting that PPF curve outward. And for your exam, you'll want to remember the two main ways this happens: technological change, inventing better ways to do things, and capital accumulation, which is just getting more tools, factories, and skills. But, and this is a big but, this growth doesn't just happen for free. There's always a cost. Look at this graph. It shows a choice between making pizzas to eat today and making pizza ovens that let us make more pizzas tomorrow. If we choose to make more ovens now, we have to eat less pizza today. It's classic short-term pain for long-term gain, shifting our whole PPF out for the future. So here's a huge takeaway, something to really remember. The opportunity cost of economic growth is always less consumption today. To build a better tomorrow, you have to make sacrifices now. That's a fundamental trade-off. Okay, for our final topic, let's talk about another way to get beyond our own limits. And the cool thing is, you don't even need new tech for this one. All you need is a little teamwork. Let's talk about the power of trade. Now, to really get trade, you need to know these two terms. Absolute advantage is easy. It just means you're faster or better at making something than someone else. But the real engine, the one that makes the world go round, is comparative advantage. This means you can make something at a lower opportunity cost. That's the one that truly matters. Let's look at Liz and Joe. At the top, you see what they can do on their own, splitting their time making smoothies and salads. But let's say Liz has a comparative advantage in smoothies, and Joe's a natural at salads. So what if they specialize? Liz goes all in on smoothies, and Joe focuses just on salads. And here is the magic. Look what happens after they specialize and then trade. They both end up with more smoothies and more salads than they could have possibly made by themselves. Check out those final rows. It's a total win-win. By focusing on their comparative advantage and trading, they've both completely shattered their old production limits. And that leaves us with one final big question to think about. We just saw this principle work for two people, Liz and Joe. So how does this exact same idea scale up to create wealth for entire nations that specialize in trade with each other? That's a great thought to take with you. Good luck on your exam.